In an era where fame fades fast and trends disappear in seconds, one name continues to rise, echoing louder and more powerfully than ever: Kim Seokjin, known worldwide as Jin of BTS. His presence is not just enduring, it is evolving. From Seoul to San Francisco, from Tokyo to Times Square, Jin's name resounds across cultures, languages, and generations. And now, in late 2025, something remarkable is unfolding. Jin is becoming a cultural phenomenon in the United States like never before. But how does a K-pop star, once just a trainee among hundreds, become one of the most beloved figures in the Western entertainment landscape? The answer is layered: an intricate mix of vocal brilliance, personal authenticity, brand power, emotional connection, and a rare kind of global humility. Jin's path was never about chasing trends. Instead, he shaped his own. While BTS as a group skyrocketed with songs like Dynamite and Butter, Jin carved out a lane of his own through his uniquely emotional voice and storytelling. His solo tracks, from the ethereal Epiphany to the heart-tugging Moon, resonated with fans not just as music, but as confessions of vulnerability. That's what makes him different in a world of filtered perfection. Jin sings like he feels it, and fans hear themselves in every note. After completing his military service in June 2025, Jin didn't just rejoin the spotlight, he commanded it. His solo EP Echo, released just months later, became a sonic diary of reflection, hope, and love. Tracks like Don't Say You Love Me shattered records, reaching over 600 million streams in just 163 days, and placing him at the forefront of K-pop's solo revolution. American listeners in particular were drawn not only to the production and visuals, but to the sheer emotional depth Jin infused into every performance. But the music is just one part of the equation. Jin's brand power has exploded in the US, with collaborations and partnerships that feel less like endorsements and more like global statements. His association with Gucci as a fashion muse, his ambassadorship with Fred Jewelry, and his deeply intimate photo shoots with Spur magazine and Vogue Korea have redefined what it means to be both masculine and elegant in the modern world. He's not just wearing luxury, he's becoming the face of a new, more human luxury. By October 2025, the Mama Awards campaign highlighted another fascinating shift. US fans are leading global voting efforts for Jin, flooding timelines with #JIN, #Seokjin, and #Seokjin tags. This level of engagement isn't just about fan culture, it's about respect. American audiences see in Jin something real, a man who's humble despite massive fame, who laughs freely, who speaks softly, and who, when given a stage, delivers performances that don't feel rehearsed, they feel lived. And then there's his personality. Jin's comedic timing, grounded attitude, and love for gaming and cooking have made him endlessly relatable. US talk shows, media outlets, and even celebrities have begun referencing him in ways usually reserved for global icons. Chris Martin from Coldplay once said, "Jin has the heart of a poet and the soul of a friend." That sentiment is echoed now by millions who've never even met him, but feel like they know him. Even more impressive is the strategic yet organic way Jin has handled fame. Unlike many stars who lose themselves to the spectacle, Jin remains rooted. His interviews always return to family, to fans, to simplicity. He talks about texting anxiety. He prefers silence over noise. And still, somehow, he fills arenas. His encore concert tour, #RunSeokjin_P tour, with live streams that sold out across continents, proves this wasn't just nostalgia, it's momentum. And it's building. When he walks onto stage in Incheon, his voice carried not just through speakers, but into the hearts of ARMY across the US, many of whom had never seen him live before. In that moment, Jin was not just a Korean pop star. He was an international symbol of resilience, beauty, and emotional honesty. US media is beginning to reflect this shift. Billboard has run multiple features on his chart achievements. Rolling Stone praised his songwriting maturity. Even lifestyle and fashion outlets like GQ and Vogue US are beginning to describe him as a cultural bridge, someone who brings East and West together not with spectacle, but with sincerity. And maybe that's the real reason Jin's fame continues to grow in the United States. In a country divided by noise, Jin offers calm. In a culture obsessed with speed, Jin sings slowly. In a media landscape defined by shock and scandal, Jin rises with quiet power. Oh no, it's not a mystery why he's still so famous. It's because he's never chased fame. He's chased meaning. And in doing so, he's created something far more lasting than virality. He's created a legacy, From the boy in Anyang who dreamed of acting, to the global artist standing center stage with 90,000 voices chanting his name in unison, Jin's journey is far from over. In fact, for many in the US, it's just beginning. But what truly sets Jin apart in the American media landscape is the emotional timing of his rise. In 2025, Western audiences are exhausted by scandals, fatigued by superficiality, and searching, consciously or not, for authentic joy and depth. Jin offers both, without artifice. His every appearance, be it on a magazine cover, a live stream, or a red carpet, feels like a breath of sincerity, a gentle rebellion against the cynicism of celebrity culture. Even the language used around him is changing. No longer confined to K-pop star or BTS member, American outlets are now referring to Jin as a global artist, an icon of emotional storytelling, and even a fashion-forward cultural connector. That evolution is rare. It's the kind of shift that once happened to artists like Beyoncé, Bruno Mars, or Adele, individuals who transcend genre and origin to become universal. His impact on American fans is visible beyond streaming numbers or fashion editorials. On platforms like TikTok, his older performances from BTS's early years are being rediscovered by younger fans, many of whom weren't part of the original ARMY wave. Meanwhile, Gen Z creators are quoting his lyrics in poetry, sharing clips of his vulnerable interviews, and remixing his encore concert moments with awe. In short, he's being felt, not just seen. And then, of course, there's the power of narrative. Americans love stories, especially underdog ones. Jin's story is uniquely cinematic. A boy who wanted to be an actor, discovered randomly on the street, thrown into a group where he had no formal dance training, who later became one of the vocal anchors of the world's most successful boy band. He didn't debut as the center. He wasn't the first member to go viral, but he endured, trained, and grew into a performer so magnetic that his solo encore concert livestream would sell out faster than most headlining pop acts in the US. Hollywood producers are reportedly eyeing him not just as a musician, but as a potential lead actor in international dramas and films. Netflix, Disney+, and even Apple TV executives have privately praised his natural screen charisma and expressive vulnerability, as seen in BTS documentaries and short skits. If Jin ever does make a move to acting, it's clear he wouldn't be starting from zero. He'd be bringing millions of emotionally invested fans with him. Fashion-wise, Jin has become a muse for contrasts. His look can be playful one day, bunny hats, dad jokes, pastel suits, and hauntingly elegant the next. Slicked back hair, navy velvet, and custom-tailored tuxedos by Gucci. In the US, where celebrities often struggle to maintain mystery while remaining accessible, Jin balances both effortlessly. One moment, he's joking on Weverse. The next, he's walking into the Gucci flagship in Milan with the quiet confidence of a global fashion ambassador. His influence is even crossing over into philanthropy and soft diplomacy. As a former Olympic torchbearer and unofficial cultural ambassador for Korea, Jin's presence in campaigns like Visit Korea or collaborations with Singapore's tourism board for the Don't Say You Love Me MV has reshaped how American fans perceive Asia, not just as a trend, but as an experience. He becomes not just a performer, but a gateway to curiosity, a bridge between cultures. All of this is why American media isn't just covering Jin. They're invested in his journey. News outlets are dedicating entire segments to analyze his fashion choices. Lifestyle shows invite experts to interpret his jewelry, his vocal training, his diet, his skincare, even the psychology of his interviews. The New York Times ran a feature about the Jin effect, how his post-military comeback influenced a spike in Korean language app signups, particularly among women aged 25 to 40. It's not just about fandom. It's about cultural influence, and it keeps growing. After each public appearance, Jin-related hashtags trend in real time across US platforms. Influencers mention him. Even comedians reference him in stand-up bits as the handsome guy who can sing you into tears while making ramen. The Smithsonian recently added a BTS exhibit, where Jin's section was one of the most visited, highlighting his solo accomplishments. That popularity isn't shallow, it's rooted in admiration. Admiration for the way he carries himself, for how he makes being human feel okay in a hyper-digital age. Admiration for a man who, despite fame, still bows to every camera, thanks every crew member, and continues to speak softly in a world that often rewards volume. And perhaps that's the secret. Jin isn't just a star. He's a paradox. Gentle but powerful. Funny but profound. Private but present. And in America, where contradictions often become legends, Jin is carving his own chapter. Not as a pop idol chasing the West,